Hello friends, welcome again to my channel Code with JV, and in this video we are going to talk about how we are going to create our first ASP.NET Core API with entityframeworkcore, SQL Server and vscode. So before starting this, if you haven't subscribed to my channel which is like a Code with JV, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to that, because it gives me motivation to create more videos like this. So let's get started. So this is the agenda for my video. I'm going to show you what we can do with the .NET CLI to create our own ASP.NET Core Web API template, and then I am going to show you few extensions which I have used for the VS Code to create these applications. Then we are going to create our models or the entity. Here I am going to use student as an entity. I just wanted to show how we can create a basic API. So that is the agenda, and then we are going to have a migrations which are there are few commands there. I will explain that command when we are going to run that command and create our database, and then we are going to simply create a web API application. So this all things we are going to cover in this particular video. So let's get started. So let me directly go into my command line application, and what I am going to do is I am going to create a new web API project called Cool API. Right, so let me run this. So what it will do is it will create a directory called Cool API, and it will also create a C# project called Cool API. So here you can see it has been already done. So now let's go to that particular directory, and we are going to open my code editor, which is like a Visual Studio Code, which is my favorite code editor, and this is a open source Microsoft code editor, and it is having lots of cool features. You already saw on my previous videos about VS Code. So if you haven't seen that, go to my channel and you will see lots of videos about the VS Code. So this the Visual Studio Code has been opened, and here you can see that there are couple of folders there. You got the properties folder. This is my CS first file. So here you can see it is a Microsoft ASP.NET Core app, and currently the latest stable version is 2.2.0, which is I am having on my PC. And this is my starter file. So here you can see it's basically a simple starter file, and we are going to have this we are going to have HTTPS by default, and this is the controller file which is mapped to this particular URL, where it will going to return this thing. So now let's check it via running this application. So I can run this application via .NET Run. So what it will do is it will run this application. Okay, so here you can see it is running on 5001. So what I can do is I can refresh this one, and here you can see it is having value 1 and value 2, which is written from this thing. But for the sake of this video, we are going to have our own models, our own controllers. We are not going to use this by default value as controller. So let's get started. So first thing what we need to do is we need to create our model. So what we need to do is let me create this folder called models. Even before moving to that, let me show you the extensions which I have used. So here you can see like this is the extension, C# extension, which provides like IntelliSense and all the other features of C#. And another extension which I am using is like this one. Like it provides like cool new way to create a new C# classes and interface and all other stuffs there. So these are the two extensions which I am using with Visual Studio Code, and this is the most important extension I can say. Like this is all which you need. Like there are tons of other extensions available there, you can use those things, but like I try to minimize my extension with Visual Studio Code so it runs faster. So let's get started. So what I am going to do here is I am going to create a folder called model. Why it's not showing? Let me reload it. Let me delete it and again recreate those things. Not here, but here. Okay, so model has been created. Now what I am going to do is I am going to create our first model class, which is called student. So here you can see like student.cs has been created, and what we can do here is we can write the models for this. So what I am going to do is I am going to write few properties of our entity. Okay. And I am going to have a set. Right, so our model has been ready. Now what we need to do is we need to create our student context, which is kind of a class which is going to act as our database layer and going to perform these steps. So to do that we need to add a few packages reference to save this time. I have already copied those extensions there. So here you can see like I have added two extensions, which is like a Microsoft entityframeworkcore and Microsoft entityframeworkcore.SQLServer.design. This we need for the migration, and my Visual Studio Code is indicated that like this particular packages are not installed there. So either you can install from via clicking here, or what you can do is like you can do .NET restore here. So this is the cool stuff there. So it has been restored. Now what we are going to create is like a student context class. So what I am going to do is I am going to create again a new class called student context, and here what I am going to do is I am going to create a constructor there. So here I am going to create a student context. So let me copy this, and here I am going to have the p context option of student and options. And what I am going to do here is like it is showing me this field list. So here you can see like it is telling me to import this namespace. And one more thing which we need to do is we need to inherit this class from dbContext. Like this is the inbuilt class of Microsoft entityframeworkcore, which is a object relational mapper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass that options to our base class. So our student class is now ready, and what we need to do is we need to create one more property to create our table like db. We need to create a db set of student, and we are going to call is students. Okay, so this is it. Our dbContext class is ready right now, and this is a standard app, so we are not going to have a much more functionality. I can create some videos related to entityframeworkcore and its functionality. So what this will do is it will go get as a link query, it will going to map this to a particular table, particular model there. So now everything is ready. What we need to do is we need to create our migrations to create our database. So for that we need a connection string there. So I already copied my connection string there to save time, and what we can do here is we can create a connection string section there. So this is my connection string and this is my default thing. So here we have this connection string, and this is the student database. Right now if you see this student database is not available, which we are going to create from our migrations. So now before creating a migration we need to do one more things there. We need to initialize our database context object with the connection string. So let me copy and paste this code there. Basically what it does is here it's showing me the slightly. So what we need to do is we need to inherit our model, and it is showing me because we haven't used Microsoft.entityframeworkcore. Okay, so now it has been gone, right? So what it is doing is it is getting the connection string called default connection, which we just created here, and it is initializing that with the dbContext. And here I am going to use SQL Server, so that's why I am using SQL Server here. But you can use any favorite database like MySQL, even the PostgreSQL or Oracle is also available. So for that you need to create a provider, you need to install the NuGet packages for that particular database provider, but it is easily available on the nuget.org, so that you can do it. So now all things are looking good. So basically what we need to do is we need to create our migration. So let me copy this migration command. So basically here what it is telling is we are going to create our first migration called initial create, and EF is for entityframeworkcore. So let me run this. So here you can see it is telling me done. So migration has been created, and here you can see now there is a new folder called migration where we have this migration created which we created called initial create, and what it will do is it will create a table called student, and these are the default all the steps there. And here you can see the primary key and everything is there. Now what we need to do is we need to create our database from these migrations there. And so for that we need to run this command like .NET EF database update. So what it like, it is creating my database and few other steps there. So here it will create the database. Okay, so it says now it has been done. So if you see now the student database has been created, and these are the two tables where our student columns and everything has been created, and this is the table used for entity framework to create the migrations and code. So let me open that so I can show it to you. So here you can see like the initial create migration ID is there which we created. Okay, and this is our student table. So let's insert some records there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some records there. And I'm going to write this record. Okay, so we are done with the inserting our record. We are going to insert with entityframeworkcore, but like that will be a topic for the next video. For time being, I have inserted the records there. Now let me directly again go to my Visual Studio Code, and now it's time to create a student controller, because that is what we needed to create our controller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a class called student controller, right, and I'm going to inherit from the class called controller, and it will show me legally to do this. And there are a couple of things which we need, first one is the system.collections.change. Another one we are going to need is system.linkView, and we also need our model. So I'm going to explain what are the things there, but like let's start by creating. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a student context object called student context, and I'm going to have a student context constructor for the student controller, and what I'm going to pass here is the student and student context. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize this context with this one. Okay, so like you must be wondering like when this object is get created. So if you remember that in the startup file, what we have done is like we have created this student context object with this particular connection string. So the ASP.NET Core inbuilt dependent injection will inject this object into the controller context. And now what we are going to do is we are going to also create a destructor, and we are going to dispose this so we don't have any connection alive. Okay, now what we need to do is like we need to create few steps there. First is like we don't have any routes defined, so let me copy to save time. Let me copy this from here to here. So what it will do is like it will map this URL with particular controller, So in our case we'll have like API/student, but right now it's not ready, so let's create those things. So now what we are going to do is we are going to have this particular action result just like this. So what we are going to do is, like, let me copy paste this to here, and what I am going to do is I need to get all the list of students, right? And here we are going to write some code, but like this is the first default method, and here we indicate it like it will be a get method. So like if you see in the values controller, like there are a couple of methods there, and you can have those things there, like it supports all the HTTP verbs there. So you can have HTTP get, post, put, delete, all steps are there, but like for the sake of this video we are going to have only get method. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write student.toList. Okay, so basically now let me explain why I need these two things. So basically, like it provides me this toList functionality from this system.link. So what it will do is, like, it will fetch all the students from the database and it will convert into the generic list, and for that we need this system.collection.generic stuff, and now it will return it to this particular actions. So let's build it to check whether this there are any error. So like build is succeeded and there is no warning or no error. So let me run this project. Okay, now it has been running, and let me refresh it. So here you can see like all the data which is we have inserted here in the student table is there. So that's it, guys. It's very easy to create web APIs in the ASP.NET Core, and we have created our first API. Hope you like this video, and like thank you very much for watching this video. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, then this is the channel like Code with JV. So please do subscribe to my channel. It gives me motivation to create this kind of videos, and hope you like this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.